the next setup is kind of a all-purpose, and all this is a simple tail rubber, and this is a Korda leg clip. Right, again, what I like to do is thread it all through onto the gate latch needle, straight through, and easy. Thread it straight onto the leader as always, and pull it straight down. Again, put a little bit of moisture on, and then, and this is very important especially with the leg clip, is you push it on as tight as you possibly can to the swivel, and if you listen you'll hear a little click. And there it is. That means it's nice and tight. I just like to make sure that's really tight on there, and you'll see why soon. Next step is to moisten a little bit of your leader and moisten your leg clip. Next step is to take your swivel lead and put your swivel lead onto your leg clip. Now, lots of people have lots of different ways of fishing a leg clip. Lots of people suggest what you should snip a part of it off, or you know, not even fish with a tail rubber, and these are all valid ways of fishing, but I find the most effective way is fish it for how it was made to be fished. Quite simply and very gently push on a few notches, so that probably 5 notches on, and that's all you need. And every time you fish like this, it's very, very important to make sure you just pull off your tail rubber and moisten it again, because if you leave your rod set up when you're not fishing, that'll all dry up and tighten and all the rest of it, and that'll get stuck on there really hard. So make sure you pull it off, put a little bit of moisture on it, and that'll work every time. And this is how it works. Quite simply, fish comes along, sees your bait, fantastic, sucks in your bait and your hook, and you've got a carp. Now, this can be fished in weed or snags or any conditions, for the simple reason of, when the carp picks it up and that lead gets snagged, the carp will pull, and that will very easily just pull off. You lose a lead which is worth £1, and you get to land a carp. And I don't mind if the carp weighs £10 or £30. At the end of the day, you've caught a carp, you know, and for the sake of £1, why not? And to be honest with you, so many people don't fish this correctly. So many people lose fish in snags and stuff, and not only have they just lost a fish and haven't got to witness that fish and whatnot, but there's a possibility that fish is still stuck in that snag. So fish safely and it will pay you. Right, last thing to show you, and I suppose it's probably one of the most important bits, is how to tie your leader onto your main line. Now, there's several different knots you can use, but I find this is the most effective knot. Take your main line, take your leader, and what I do is I push my main line through the loop once, go all the way back round and push it through a second time. Now use plenty of tag end, you'll need it. Pull that down slightly tight, and then bring it up. The next step is to make a loop like that. So as you can see, you've just got a loop along your line. Okay? Next step is to go round your 2 bits of line 5 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Next thing to do is gently just pull it up slightly like so. Right, and before it even starts to get tight, remember to wet your knot. Bit of saliva, lovely. Right, now pull that up a little bit tighter and now pull down. So just pull your main line and you'll watch your knot going down. Now stop before you get to the end and pull your tag end a little bit more to tighten the knot up a little bit more. And at this stage I would suggest putting a little bit more moisture on there. And then very gently just tease the knot down, pull in your main line. And as you can see, you're starting to form a knot now. Right, now it's just a case of teasing the tag end and teasing your main line bit by bit until eventually you'll feel it clamp down. And that is a solid knot. Okay, next thing to do, same as your rigs, same as any mono, is take your leader and your line and your knot into your fingers. Just clamp it in between there and just have your tag end sticking out. Next step is get a pair of scissors and snip it off about 1/2 inch. So there you go. And take a lighter. And again, like I said in my previous videos, always make sure you think of yourself first. This is your skin, so be careful. If you drip hot mono on your skin, believe me, it burns. And if you burn yourself with a flame, again, it burns. So be careful. Also remembering to keep all of your main line and your leader and your knots completely out of the way of the flame. Right, if you're making your rigs on the bank side, again, try and get a bit of shade because your flame can flicker all over the place and start wiping out knots and fingers and all sorts of things. So yeah, right, spark up your lighter and just very gently keep on dabbing your monofilament very gently with the flame, and eventually it'll start to blob. Once you've got it reasonably close, just dab the end of the blob and you'll end up with hopefully something like that, if you can see it. Okay, and what this does is, if your knot was to slip, which I'm sure if you've done it right it won't, but if it was to, that dabbed end of monofilament will just stop that knot from slipping any further, and hopefully you'll get in your fish and your tackle back. So yeah, right, that's how we do it. So this is Richard's Carpy Bits. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you join me again.